for me, that was my what was my piece? It was something that kept my brain occupied and became an obsession, especially on social media.
Good evening, everybody. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
Perfect. This is one of her students, Mike. Jessica, she's still really sick right now, and her voice is like completely gone, so she won't be hosting the call tonight. I'll be hosting the call, but she's still gonna be on. But just everybody just make sure they keep her in their prayers, because like I said, her voice is really gone and she really can't speak. So we just want to pray for her for her healing, and she's dealing with her pregnancy right now. So we want to keep her in our prayers, and I'm gonna go over a few pairs for today. This call will be pretty short. And then we'll get you guys up out of here. So give me 1 second while I pull up my screen, and then we'll get started. One second. All right, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. So I'm gonna go over 3 pairs today. Just the 3 pairs that I mainly trade, which is gold, NAS 100, and GBP Jpy. So there's a few things that I want to talk about in regards to these pairs, and a few gems that I want to drop for you guys in regards to like the market and what's been going on lately. So the first pair we're going over is GDP Jpy. So last week we can see that we had this overall like super bullish uptrend, and then we came to this level of resistance right here. Now I want you guys to really pay attention to the scenarios that could potentially happen on this GDP Jpy. So of course, everybody knows, if you've been on these calls for a while, that the market moves in 3 phases: impulse, correction, continuation. But for the majority of these 3 pairs, especially like gold and NAS 100, but GJ as well, we had a real aggressive push down last week to end the week on Friday. So I have this note right here saying that we're at this negative 61.8 TP based off of this minor structure fib. But since price ended so aggressive last week, I want to make sure that price doesn't continue to push further. So even though I have this ghost pattern right here pulling up to test this level of support that was previously broken, and this also that lines up with this trend line, there's 2 scenarios like I was saying. So like I have 2 trend lines on here, because this trend line, I'm going to make it a different color. I'm going to make it let's make it yellow. So this is what we call trend line fanning in a sense. So we have this trend line, we have multiple touches. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different touches. And then on this trend line was broken, but I also drew this black trend line that had this 1, 2, and then this will be the 3rd touch, and price is sitting on here. So in this case, I didn't want to just say, oh, this trend line got broken, because this black trend line is still pretty much very valid. So I want to make sure that price breaks and retest this trend line before we look for price to continue to go further down to this potential zone. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes,
Perfect.
yeah.
All right, so with that being said, so if this black trend line breaks and retests, then it's going to go lower. But like I said, since the market ended so aggressively, I want to make sure that it's not going to just continue to push down without having this actual pullback. So what I mean by that is, if we take a look to the left, we can clearly see right here that The story at this zone risk is that every time price comes to this zone, it drops. So if I was just to clear off this chart, we can see that this similar, let me do the annotation to it really fast. This area right here looks a lot like this. It was kind of like the same push. And since we're in this same zone right here, we kind of have to like play it by the ear and see what price is going to do. So if I was to copy this ghost pattern right here, this same previous price, and put it right here, it will look almost identical. So I'm going to do that for you guys. Give me 1 second. So
hey Mike, how'd you just like clear your whole chart like that?
Oh, this eye tool right here.
Where's your mouse at?
Right here to the left.
Oh, I see it. Okay,
Yeah,
thank
you just click it so you could unhide it, show all the drawings.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. So let me go ahead and clear some of these off really quick, like this fib, just so you guys can see it a little bit more clearly. So if I was just to copy this right here and put it right in this spot, we can see like this is like almost identical. So let me remove this one. So I'm worried to see, I want to see if this is going to do this exact same thing that it did over here to the left. So we see that we had that push and then we never really got a big pullback and then we just kept dropping. So that's what I need to see if that's going to happen for Gdp Jpy and see if we're going to drop to this zone and then potentially drop to this 4-hour trend line, which is this green trend line, because like I said, price is so similar to that area and we're coming off the same zone and prices kind of having like that same price action. So I really want to see what it's going to do. So for the right now, I'm looking for the pullback, but just be mindful that if we do break this black trend line and retest it, then you can carry it further down to this green zone and then potentially to this green trend line. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes, it does. Yes.
Yes.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
And the only reason why, like I said, I was looking for this trend line for a price to pull back to this area is because we're sitting at this -61.8, and we all know that -61.8 means reversal, but we still have to be mindful of the overall momentum because the momentum is super bearish right now. So we just have to be mindful of that. So let me go ahead and pull up gold as well. So for gold, I had this marked up before the market opened and then the price kind of like pushed up a little bit, probably about, let's see, about 70 pips. So I'm looking for a price to come to this overall -27 TP, but just like Gdp Jpy, I want to see if this is going to pull back down to this area, potentially right here to this zone of this previous level of resistance that was broken in this trend line, to see if we're going to get a bounce from there to go higher. But like I was saying with Gdp Jpy, price ended the week so aggressive. It was really bullish to end the week. So I want to make sure that we're going to actually get a valid pullback before continuing to hit this -27. And this -27 comes from this overall 4-hour fib. So you probably won't be able to see because I got a lot of fibs, but if you can see this fib moving, it comes from this point A to our point B. So I'm looking for price to come to our overall -27 TP. And we just took out these previous, this high right here. So now that lets me know like, okay, there's a little bit of bullish momentum. So we can be looking for a price to continue to go up, and at -27 is alignment with this overall daily downtrend trend line that I have. So the story on this daily trend line was every time price touches this red line, it push down. So the moment that we get to this overall, somebody say something? Okay. So when we get to this overall daily trend line, we need to see what price will do from here. But please just make sure if you're looking for this gold trade, just be mindful that this still can pull back further. So you just got to wait on confirmations right now. I'm gonna just be honest, like this isn't ready. Like I wouldn't take a buy right here because it's such in like a critical area. You have to have more data before you get into this trade. So just be patient and wait. I would say probably wait for like London or New York to see if it's going to give you that pullback before looking for that overall continuation. But of course, we all know that we don't try to predict the market, we just react to it. So of course, if it does give you some different type of price action that doesn't indicate a buy, then you will just be looking for a different setup once it gives you more data. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes, Mike.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
perfect.
And Mike, could
Yeah,
this be a break of the zone that you have here?
you said what?
The zone that you have here, right up right here. Could this a break of the zone here?
Yeah, that's a 4-hour zone. So if I go to the 4-hour time frame, it's just this overall zone that I had on my 4-hour. So like with my 4-hour zones and stuff, I really don't look for like a break because price is such a big zone. So I start to look for like just breaks of like the structures that's kind of like near it in a sense, like the minor structure breaks. But it is breaking this zone right now, so we just need to wait and see what price it does from here.
Okay.
And then let me pull up NAS 100 as well. All right, so for NAS 100, I marked this up before the market opened as well, and I was looking for a price to pull back to the zone because just like gold and GJ, we ended the market super bearish with a lot of momentum. So hold on one second. Let me turn off this annotation. We ended we ended the week with a lot of bearish momentum, and I was looking for a pullback to see, but as you guys can see, we never got this pullback. Like as soon as the market opened, price just flooded beneath and it's continuing to go lower. So for indices like NAS 100, US 30, I'm not really looking for a setup right now until we get a valid pullback, because all of these just little consolidation areas, they're not like really valid pullbacks. We're just kind of getting like a hiccup and then we're continuing. So I want to see what price is going to do. Before you even look for a trade, we would need at least a pullback to like a previous area that was broken or something of that nature to potentially go lower. But we don't have that right now. So NAS 100 honestly isn't ready right now because it's still like pushing right now. Like since the market opened, it pushed down over 300 points in a couple hours. So we just have to wait on the pullback for that, and then we could potentially see price go lower. But overall, for my bias this week, I have NAS 100 in a sell, at least until we get to this previous area of support down here, and then we need to see what price does from there. But overall, my higher time frame structure, I have this main fib right here, and I have price coming down, but that's like long term. So we're not going to look too far into the future, but that's my overall bias for that. Mike, somebody say my name?
Yes, I got a question here. So when you are looking at kind of like this one right here, right? You said it closed out super bullish or bearish last week. Would you just recommend, because it's no way, it don't think it's really no way to predict what the movement's going to be at the beginning of the week moving forward? Or are you just going to wait for more confluences kind of going from there?
Yeah, in this case, you just want to wait on more data. So like the data that we have right now doesn't give us enough information so that we could take a potential trade, because we have like, you know, how we talk about the 3 phases: impulse, correction, continuation. All we've been having is impulses, and you never want to enter the market on impulses. You want to wait for a correction and then catch the overall continuation, but we haven't had a valid correction at all yet. So we need to wait for that to happen. But since we're so close to this area of support, like right here, down here, we have to just wait to see like, okay, are we going to bounce or are we going to break through that and then get another correction to catch a drop further? That makes sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, I got a question.
What's up?
I got on the call like a little late, so I just wanted to know, like, this is probably a simple question, but do you, for the most part, you wait for a pullback in the continuation, right, rather than looking for a breakout?
Yeah, like you never just want to enter the market on impulse. Like that's me personally. I would never enter the market on an impulse. Always wait for a correction.
All right, cool.
Yep, no problem, no problem. Does anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I got a question about trend line.
So
like on my 1 hour, the trend line, I'm looking at EU, and on my 1 hour, price is at the trend line, but then when I go to the 30-minute, the price has already pushed past the trend line. Which time frame is more accurate? You know, has that ever happened to you?
are you talking about like the trend line like moving, like when you switch time frames?
Yeah.
It just really just depends. Like if you looking to enter, then I mean, of course, I would be looking to enter on the lower time frame, so like the 30 minute or 15. But like as you zoom in and zoom out, like of course the trend line is gonna move a little bit just because it's not as like detailed. Like when you look at a 1 hour, you don't have all of the details, but then when you drop down time frames, you could see a lot more candlesticks. So the trend line is gonna be a little bit off. But if you're looking for like a entry confirmation based off of that trend line, then I would I will pay attention to the smaller time frame.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I'm definitely gonna, wait for the smaller time frame, and the trend line will move like, a little bit as you get more detail. But this one was just, I never kind of seen it like this where it moves so drastically. But I'll make sure I zoom in on my time frames and enter when I get my confirmations. I had never seen it move that much before.
All right, perfect. Does anybody else have any questions?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm looking at your support zones. Is it ever possible that let's say an hour zone could fall over into a 4-hour zone, or they would be completely separate at all times?
What do you mean, like fall over, like be the same zone?
Yes, in the same area.
Yeah, of course. Like, I mean, it really just depends on the person, because like I might label my zone as a 1 hour zone, you may label it as a 4-hour zone, but it's still the same like overall zone. It's just more so just like how many touches does it have? Like, is it a real highly respected area of support or resistance? But for the most part, they're pretty much like they would be the same thing, because it's just a zone, it's just an area of price.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem. Anybody else have any questions?
Appreciate you, bro.
No problem. Let me check the chat box to see if anybody.
Hey, I have a quick question.
What's up?
I'm doing the course, and I'm at the point where you do a top-down analysis.
Uh-huh.
So I know you start from the monthly time frame on the first one, but you do this every week, correct? Every Friday before Sunday. So seeing that you don't have any additional data on the higher time frame, would you start on, say, the 4-hour the next week?
Hold on, let me think about that. Well, like the higher time frames, they're not going to change, because like it's going to take a while for those to like of course
develop,
play out.
exactly.
Yeah,
and that's
so
what I was
like,
asking. Like the following week, do you start like on the 4 hours since that has changed?
I always start from the highest time frame, but even though nothing may not change, I may see something that I didn't see the first time when I did it. So I always start when I'm starting to do my top down, I will start from the highest time frame, but that's just me personally. But like the data, like I said, the data won't change. So I mean, you don't have to, but me personally, I do.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yep. No problem. And Jess just wrote in the chat, said while you're on the course, you need to do the full top down. So if when you're doing the course, you know how it is when you do the course. So anybody else have any questions? Yes, sir.
So Mike, you spoke briefly, or you mentioned real quickly about fanning trend lines. Can you speak to that a bit more and tell us what questions specifically are you using the same time frames when you're drawing those trend lines, or how are you doing that?
Yeah, so like a trend line fan, like with GJ, like it's two trend lines that price, like in a sense, can like is being respected. So like we have our point A to our point B on this black trend line, but then we also have this yellow trend line that price is respecting. So I was just saying that in a sense, like price is respecting this trend line. So I want to see this black trend line break and retest before looking for a sell, because if price chooses to respect this black trend line, then price could easily continue to shoot up from here. So like in a sense, when you have data that's like similar in price and near the same area, sometimes you want to have a trend line fan where you can like gauge price. So like if I come up here, I could have a trend line that's out coming at this angle, then I could have another trend line that comes at this angle, but price could break and retest this trend line, but still stop at this trend line. So it's like, I want to be sure that I don't get like faked out in a sense. Does that make sense?
Perfect, thank you.
Yo, no problem.
Mike, I had a quick question about trend lines going off of that. When you're drawing your trend lines, are you starting at the beginning of that structure, or are you just finding 2 points within that structure to then draw into the future?
I'm drawing whatever makes the most sense in regards to like the trend. Okay. So like if sometimes like you don't have to necessarily start from like the highest point or the lowest point, but whatever makes the most sense on that trend line. So like in this case right here, if I just clear this and do the annotation, if I was to draw the points from this highest point to this next point, my trend line will be right here, but that takes me completely out of the loop. So if I draw my point from here to here, this is more so tighter price in regards to this overall minor structure downtrend. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, thank you so much.
Yo, no problem. And that kind of goes back to like that trend line fanning too. So like we see that, okay, if price breaks and retest this trend line, then we know the next potential area will be like, we could potentially come to that trend line area.
Nice, thank you.
Yo, no problem.
So Mike, I have a question here. When it comes to the structure, I know you mentioned that the negative 61.8, does the structure always changes at negative 61.8, or does it do that sometimes at negative 27? Depends on where the retracement is.
Okay, so nothing in the market is guaranteed. Like no matter what strategy or not, like whatever like indicator or like Fibonacci, like nothing is guaranteed. So it's like you can't assume, but there's like it's more like a higher probability chance. So when price gets to negative 61.8, there's a high probability chance that it could reverse. But also you have to pay attention to whether it's minor structure or major structure, because a major structure, yeah, you could expect like a reversal in a sense, but a minor structure might just be a temporary pullback for price to go in the continuation for that overall major structure. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So it's always, you kind of always got to keep the thought in the back of your head that you react to the market and don't try to predict it, because if you just sold or you just try to like assume that price is going to reverse at the negative 61.8 100% of the time, then you will be losing trades for unnecessary reason. Like even right here, price came to this negative 61.8. It didn't reverse right at the negative 61.8. It continued to push a little higher, but then it reversed once it got to this area of support. Does that make sense?
Yes. So does that mean when you have a structure that is have a uptrend and it completes at negative 61, for instance, is it possible that it can create another structure going upward also?
Yeah, anything in the market is possible. So like, if it goes there and it does that, then you just wait for more data and let the market come to you in a sense. Like you just gotta wait it out.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep, no problem. Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I know you're not super into fundamentals, but like, do you have any general thoughts on where, like, you know, with the recession coming up and how that might affect gold or anything like that? You got any like general thoughts on the economy and stuff like that?
No, for the most part, I'll just really do like technicals. Like I don't really read into too much of the fundamental side. I pretty much just whatever the market tells me it does, what it's gonna do, then that's what I pretty much do.
All right.
Mike, can you touch a little bit about entries? Like my struggle is I get the break and retest, I see divergence, but that entry point, where do you enter after the break and retest?
Well, that's a question that Jessica can answer for you. She'll be going over entries for you guys' classes for your automated course next week. So just save that same question, make sure like write it down and then ask her that for you guys' group when you guys do your entries next week.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anybody else? And also Jess said she did a video on entries on YouTube 4 weeks ago. So go find that video on her YouTube. Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I have a quick question.
What's up?
All right, so that you got 3 zones on there. There's 2 light ones, and there's like more of a darker one. So the middle one, can you tell me why you put that middle one there?
You're talking about this one. I'm gonna just make it a different color. This blue one.
Yes, that one. Yes, that one.
Because it was an area of support and resistance price. The story on this zone was every time price came here, it bounced. And then so there's a high probability chance that when price gets here, it could potentially bounce. So that's really just like the science behind any zone. I just know that like I said, it was just an area where price bounced at. So we have 1, 2, 3 different touches from here. So I'm just seeing if price is gonna come here and have that same type of reaction.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So let's just reiterate what we talked about for the week. So for GJ, I have price pulling up. I want to see price pull up to this yellow trend line or this white zone and see what price does from there. But like I said, be mindful that if this black trend line does break and retest, then we know we are going to be headed lower. So the right now money, I will say I'm looking for a buy. But for the rest of the week, potentially looking for a sell as long as we can break and retest this black trend line. And then for as far as gold, I have gold in a buy this week, but I want to make sure that on this pullback, I want to see how far price is going to pull back before we get this overall continuation, because of course we could come to this previous area of resistance, so this white zone, and then potentially push up, or if price continues its super aggressive bullish momentum, then we could potentially just get like a really small pullback and then hit our overall negative 27 TP, which is in alignment with our daily trend line. So that is about 240 pips from there, but we just have to see what price does. Because of course, we always react to the market. We don't try to predict it. So let price give you some more data and make sure you have your confirmation before you take this buy. And then, like I said, if price chooses to do something else, then of course you'll just wait for confirmations and react as the market gives you more data. And then as far as NAS is still continue to fall as we speak, even though it's still dropping even from last time we just looked at it. But this isn't ready. I don't really have a trade right now for this because it's not enough data, but I'll just be looking for an overall correction before we get the continuation for this, but we have to wait for that to play out. So this one, like I said, NAS isn't ready. Gold, I got to buy. And then GJ, I got the temporary minor structure buy up to here as long as we stay on this trend line. Everybody got it?
Hey,
Yes,
Mike.
thank you so much.
Yeah, Mike.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, if anybody doesn't have any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. What's up?
Hey, quick question, man. Go back to gold for me quickly, if you don't mind. All right, so you have it. Okay. All right, so market came. Yeah, I had that zone right there. So you have it hitting that, retesting and then going up.
Yeah.
So you have to fall by, right? Okay.
Yep. But I just don't know how deep this pullback is going to be. It could be, let me fix it. It can pull back deeper to like right here to this zone and then go higher, but we just have to wait and see. But since it was so bullish, that's why I got this kind of like small, like consolidated ghost pattern, because if it just stays in this like overall consolidation that continues, then that would just be like an overall continuation of that.
Yeah, I got you. One more quick question. So this zone you have right here, right? What is that, a 1 hour or 4 hour? Which one is it? Well, the color you have. Yeah.
Oh, that's 1 4 hour zone.
Oh, it's a 4 hour you're using. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that, all right, cool. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, no problem. Be on the lookout for Jess. For everybody else in her automated course, look out for when you guys have your call about entries, and then I'll update her so she could update the Telegram chat if these trades play out for the week. And then she'll let you guys know in the overall Telegram. So if nobody else have any questions, I'll let you guys go, and then just be just look out for the Telegram chat for her to keep you guys updated.
Appreciate you, Mike.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks,
no problem.